One of the questions that we as healthcare providers struggle with is how do we get people to buy into the assistance or the help that we so passionately want to give. And this morning I was listening to a message by Celebration Church, and it was called Share the Fire. But one of the things he made a distinction between is being a follower and a disciple of either something, someone, or a philosophy. And I'm kind of adding my own thing to this because it applies to something that I'm always thinking about. So yesterday, FulFt or Rob Fulton hosts the WNBF, and one of the competitors was asking the trainer about what could she do in order to go from second place to first place winner. She seems to always come in second place, and was really wanted to know what is it that she can do that could make the difference. Well, this one judge, who is an avid competitor, was telling her about some changes to do in her nutrition meal plan. And this is something that had worked for her. And so it was a strong suggestion based on science, methodology, and all of that. So one of the things that she suggested was eating a protein or carb-rich meal before her first morning workout. Well, the competitor, as well as many of us, have been used to doing fasting workouts first thing in the morning. And so the judge recommended that she make a quick, eggs, 2 eggs, 6 egg whites in the morning before the workout. The first thing the competitor said was, well, that will make me late for work. I don't have time to do all that. The judge so passionately and sternly said, you've already set up your own limitations. You've already set up restrictions. You have a goal that you're trying to reach. Do what you have to do in order to reach that goal. Man, that thing hit right here, because that's something or a concept that we struggle with. What do we do when the goal we're trying to meet doesn't necessarily line up with the steps that we're taking? Oftentimes we have to get rid of what we thought would work or what has worked in the past and try something different. So the message this morning was about the difference between being a follower and a disciple. Anybody could be a follower, and it was referring back to Acts chapter 8. I think it was verse 23 through 26, somewhere around there, where there was a clear distinction between people who were followers and then those who actually chose to receive the power of the Holy Spirit. I remember reading that years ago when I always questioned, I believe. But what is the difference between becoming a passive believer in something, but actually submitting and yielding to the principles and the philosophy of something or someone? And that is what we do when we become a receiver or a disciple of Jesus Christ. So of course I applied that to people who believe in wellness. They believe that they need something. They believe that they need to lose weight. They believe that they need to do a certain thing, but actually submitting and yielding to a process that may be uncomfortable is taking it to a whole different level. And that's what we need to self-examine. Do I want to be just a passive follower of something, or do I want to be a disciple of it? which means I submit, I yield, embracing the fact that change can happen instantaneously, but transformation may happen over a period of time. It takes patience and grace to yield and trust the process. So that's what I wanted to stop through and say today. Do you want to be a follower of something, someone, methodology, principle, or do you want to be a disciple, someone that learns the principles, that has a heart that wants to yield and submit to the process? And of course, that number one discipleship for me is being a follower, believer, and a disciple of Jesus Christ. But the other thing that I'm a disciple of is this process of wellness, and how does God want me to sincerely care for the one temple that He's given me. And that's what I wanted to say. Think about it, and I'd be interested in knowing your thoughts.